Have you ever wondered why there are people who, no matter what happens, crises, drastic changes, major losses, always find a way to move forward? It doesn't matter if the world turns upside down, they get back up. And what's most interesting is that they don't always have more resources, more connections, or more luck than you or me. So then, what is it that truly makes them endure and thrive? I'm telling you from the heart, that pattern is not a coincidence. Long before financial gurus, self-help books, or entrepreneurship podcasts ever existed, the Bible had already laid out principles that never fail. Principles that don't wobble with trends, temporary strategies, or whatever shape the economy is in at the moment. They work in any era, in any place, and the best part is that you can apply them to your life right now, today. I'm not talking about getting rich overnight, or magical formulas, or empty promises. I'm talking about something much more solid. Ways of living and working that bring stability, growth, and above all, purpose. Stability even when everything seems to be moving too fast. Because the Bible teaches us that what is built well does not collapse when storms arrive. On the contrary, it becomes stronger, it adapts, and it keeps moving forward. And you can start building something like that too, little by little, principle by principle. The Bible is not just a book of faith or ancient stories. It is a manual full of practical advice on how to manage resources, work, relationships, and decisions. And when you read it with open eyes, you see that it speaks about ways to prosper that have endured for thousands of years and are still just as relevant today. Think about how many projects or businesses you've seen that looked incredible and suddenly fell apart. Not because the idea was bad or the person didn't work hard, but because they were missing a solid foundation. That is exactly what these principles prevent. They build on rock, not on sand. That's why today I want to talk with you about 4 pillars that, according to the Bible, are practically bulletproof. They are not separate businesses in the strict sense, but 4 ways of generating value that complement one another. And when you put them together, create a system that can withstand any blow. Everything starts with the most basic thing, but at the same time the most protective, not putting all your eggs in one basket. Because life has shown us that it is unpredictable, an unexpected layoff, inflation that eats away at your paycheck, a pandemic like the one we lived through. And if all your income depends on a single source, the impact can be devastating. But notice how wise the advice of Ecclesiastes 11:2 is. Invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8, because you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. God already knew the instability of the world, so his plan is simple and eternal. Diversify, create multiple streams of income that support one another. You don't have to go crazy opening 1,000 things all at once. It can be as natural as keeping your main job and, little by little, adding something that flows in from somewhere else. Start by honestly looking at where your money comes from right now. Fixed salary, occasional freelance work, hikes interest from savings. Write that list down and notice how exposed you are if everything depends on one single place. Then, turn your attention to what God has already placed in your hands. Your talents, your abilities. What do you know how to do that others would value and pay for? Cooking homemade meals, speaking languages, fixing things, designing graphics, giving practical advice. Pray for guidance and start offering it. You can create simple passive income, an index fund that grows over time, an ebook with your experience that you sell on Amazon Kindle and that generates money while you sleep, or active income, services on Upwork or Fiverr, tax preparation for friends, tutorial videos on YouTube that you later monetize with ads. Dedicate 1 to 2 hours per week at the beginning. Aim for those extra sources to represent 20 to 30% of your income within a few months. Every month, review what is working best, adjust with faith, so avoid unnecessary debt that ties your hands. That's how you move from depending on a single river to having multiple streams that form a stable lake. If one source weakens, the others keep you afloat. That is not just strategy, it is divine protection in practical action. And once you feel that safety net, that peace of not being so exposed, the natural desire is to want something more solid. Something that not only protects you today, but endures over time and leaves a blessing for those who come after. That is exactly where land and property come in, the pillar that the Bible highlights as one of the most eternal and reliable. Look at the example of Abraham. God did not promise him stocks, cryptocurrencies, or a fixed salary. He promised him land. Genesis 13:14-15. Lift up your eyes. All the land that you see, I will give to you and to your offspring forever. Why land? Because it is tangible, limited, and always necessary. People need shelter, food, space. In times of high inflation or currency devaluation, as happens in many Latin American countries, property usually protects value and, over the years, multiplies it, while currencies lose strength. You don't need to be a millionaire to get started. There are realistic paths, lots in peripheral or developing areas, with affordable monthly payments, small apartments to rent in large cities, where the rent covers the payment and leaves something extra, bank foreclosures, pre-sales, or even real estate crowdfunding to enter with little capital while sharing risks. But before taking that step, clean up your finances. Proverbs 22:7 is clear. The borrower is servant to the lender. Attack high-interest debt aggressively to free yourself and move with freedom. Then look for something that generates positive cash flow from the beginning. Traditional rental for stability, short-term rental on Airbnb if local regulations allow it, or even a flip. Buy cheap, fix it up, and sell for a profit, if you have the skills or partners. The beautiful thing is that property works for you while you rest. And think about it from day one as a legacy. Proverbs 13:22 says that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Create a will or a plan to pass it on with fewer taxes or problems. Imagine in 5 to 10 years, properties paid off or renting on their own, a blessed family. And you with peace to give more to the kingdom without the constant fear of, what if everything goes up tomorrow? This is not about accumulating mansions. It is eternal stability that God designed for His children. But while you are building that long-term legacy, there is something you already carry with you every day and that never loses value. That does not depend on banks or governments. Your wisdom and the knowledge you have gained through sweat, through pain, through faith, and through experience. Proverbs 4:7 says it plainly. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all you're getting, get understanding. What you know is a powerful asset that you can share and monetize over and over again without it running out. Turn it into something that solves real problems for others. What do you master that people would pay to learn? How to manage finances in times of inflation. How to emigrate and adapt. How to raise children with Christian values, technical skills, local entrepreneurship tips. Whatever God has taught you. You can choose simple formats. A short digital course, an ebook, or 20 to 50-page PDF guide with clear steps, one-on-one or group mentoring sessions over Zoom. Start by sharing free content on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube to attract people, and then offer the paid premium version. Launch something small this very week. Publish your first video or PDF at a low price to get reviews, and then increase it. Use Facebook groups, WhatsApp, churches, or faith communities to reach those who need it. Review what is selling the most and double down on that. Pray for connections. Lord, bring my knowledge to those who need it. Proverbs 11:25 promises that a generous soul will prosper. This pillar is so powerful because you are the business. God does not take away what He gave you. Scalable income that becomes passive after creating it once. See freedom to give more and a legacy of impact that multiplies. And so that none of this stays still, so that everything circulates, expands, and keeps multiplying. Close the circle with the power of movement and transportation. Look at Genesis 45. When Joseph saves his family, Pharaoh does not only give them provisions, he gives them carts to move. Take wagons from Egypt for your children and your wives. Why carts? Because movement multiplies. It brings provision, reunites families, opens new doors. Jesus walked from city to city multiplying miracles. Paul traveled carrying the gospel and receiving support. Staying still brings stagnation. Moving with purpose brings flow. Today, that translates into mobility businesses, transporting people, goods, services, or even ideas. You can start with what you already have. A motorcycle, a bike, a car, or even without your own vehicle by using apps. Delivery with Rappi, Pedidosia, or Uber Eats. Passenger transport with Uber or InDriver. Mobile services like home repairs, cleaning, small moving jobs, or shopping for elderly people. Generate quick cash flow by meeting people's real needs every single day. When money comes in, invest in more equipment, an extra motorcycle, a van. In tourist areas or dense urban zones, offer premium delivery or specialized transportation. Pray for safety and for clients, combine service with kindness, deliver while you bless or help the community. Control costs, gas, maintenance, insurance, declare income so you can live with peace. It is direct action that complements everything else. It keeps money circulating while you diversify, build legacy, and share wisdom. When you put these four together, diversification to protect yourself, properties to give you eternal stability, wisdom to multiply yourself, and movement so that nothing becomes stagnant, you have a system that withstands any storm. Active income from movement, passive income from properties, scalable income from knowledge, and a deep peace to prosper and bless others. And there you have it, what the Bible assures never fails. They are principles as simple as they are powerful, but the key is to apply them consistently. You don't have to wait until everything is perfect. The only thing you need is to start. Take those first firm steps, grounded in solid principles, and be ready to adapt and learn as you move forward. So I'll leave you with this final reflection. What are you willing to build today, knowing that if you build it well, it will not collapse over time? Think about stability, resilience, and the lasting impact your effort can have. And even though the road will not always be easy, these principles will stay with you, keeping you firm even when things get tough. If there is something we learned from all of this, it is that building on solid principles is what truly matters. And if you take the first step today, sometime from now you will look back and see how much you have grown. So don't stop. Keep moving forward, with purpose, with consistency, and with the certainty that what you build on these principles will not fail. If this video has given you something of value, I invite you to subscribe so we can continue exploring together more tools that will help you build that firm path. And don't forget to leave your comments. What principles are you already applying in your life or in your business? I'm sure you have stories to share,